Oh my. It is the day after Christmas, and look at this mess. Not a person around, no kid in sight. The paper is thrown from here and there. Dishes are dirty, piled so high. The kids are off playing with new toys and things, while I sit here with my head in my hands, not wanting to clean. Husband on the couch, snoring away. No one to help on this old dreary day. When all of a sudden an idea rose, I jumped up and ran to get the supplies. It isn't trash, but junk for a craft. Snatching papers and ribbons and bows, packaging and strings, boxes and glue, ideas of projects too. When what do my gleaming eyes should see? But yes, leftover coffee and tea, whoopee! With all of my supplies tucked under my chin, I knew the craft room was where I would begin. Faster than hot glue can dry, I shouted and yelled to them all, to cut, to glue, to fold and create. No knocking, no interrupting or asking for food. I'm off to my room to have my time. Don't throw away the trash, it's mine, all mine. Well, what a wonderful, unusual start. Hey, journalistas, it's Creative Nana here, otherwise known as Sheila. This is the first time I have tried anything like this, and I'm really tickled, and thank you, Mary. What do we have the day after Christmas? Paper. Yes, I have improvised because I don't have Christmas paper right now. But we have gift wrap. All kinds of gift wrap. We might even have some paper bags that was used as wrapping. We've got ribbons and trims. We've got all kinds of things. So what do we do? What do we do? Well, I sort of have thought of a few things that possibility can do with supplies. It might be things you've already thought of and know all about, but that's okay. One of the things that I like to think about is twine. I don't know if you all have ever tried making twine, your own twine out of string, but do you know that you can make it out of paper too? Well, one of the first things that you start with, a couple of the things I'm doing, is you make strips. You just take that paper. It doesn't matter if it's short paper or long paper. It all works. It all works good. I leave that one there. So I've got some longer paper here. So if you are a perfectionist or enjoy having things exactly straight, please feel free to cut away. Cutting works too. I just happen to be, I don't call myself an eclectic crafter. I call myself a random crafter. I like to use my hands, and as you are looking at my fingers and my hands and my nails, you can see they are stained. That's the life of a crafter, and I don't mind. That I do not mind. So I'm just tearing up a few. So I've got those there sort of tucked away that I might need. You can use regular type paper as well. It'll work. Because actually, and let me show you here. This is already dried. This is what I'm talking about. That is twine. Made out of gift wrap paper. That's all that is. It is one of the this type of similar paper, but different design. And it's there and can be used. And you're saying, well, what good is that? What can I do with that? Well, I made out of some, they're little rosettes. I made some rosettes. I just glued them down and twisted them, and they'll be cut out, and I can use them in clusters or on pages or whatever. Now, I do like to warn you, this is messy. Extremely messy when you do it. But that's okay. You can do it a different way if you want to. I just happen to be a messy crafter. I don't mind it. So what I start, you just start. You want to make sure it's good and crumbled because you want it good and pliable and soft. so it will twist. And what you start doing, and I will warn you, it can rip. That's okay. Till you get used to it the first few times you do it. And you just twist. And twist. And twist. And I'm not going to do a lot of this. I'm just trying to show you how to do it. You probably already know how to do this. But, and you just twist it. Now, when you're wanting a longer piece, this is what I like to do. I'll just add in a piece here. And lots of times, I don't even know if this will work, because I always keep my glue handy that's getting almost empty upside down all the time. There we go. Just put a little glue in there so that that can attach. And you just, very careful when you twist along it. And you just twist that connection with them overlap. Good. I like to do at least a couple inches. But, you know, we've got plenty of this gift wrap after Christmas, don't we? So, it doesn't matter how much we overlap. If you like a stronger string, double it. I can see these in tassels, using as hanging dangles if you want something straight. You can put it on the edge of paper. You can use it for anything. Let's get real, okay? Now, what I do like to do, this is what makes it messy. I like mine to be, make sure it's going to stay. Because, you know, with crafting journals, we're going to use our journals. So, what I like to do is I just run some glue along it. And I just twist it. And that's what I meant, to dry. And just twist it. And I'm not going to do the whole thing because you get the idea. But when you saw it hooked before, I just sort of twist it over. Then hook it with a paper clip. And the glue will dry. And I just set it over. And it'll dry. And that's where I ended up with that. And you can make some really cool rosettes there. I thought that was pretty neat idea to do it. Also, if you haven't thought about it, which I'm sure you have, but in case you haven't, let me pull my little bowl over here. It's a Christmas bowl. Don't forget about weaving. Weaving can make some really, really neat designs when you are using with this leftover paper. And of course, I don't need to tell you this, but I'll show if there's any new crafters out there. Whenever you have your paper for weaving, I like to, I fold it over and make it double strength. If you want your clean edges, then what you need to do is fold it like that. So you fold it in double, and then you've got a clean edge. And you just weave away. So, twisted wine twine and some weaving going on there. I know this one doesn't look the greatest. I tried it the first time. This is my first protocol, but this is braided. And everybody remembers how to braid. So what I did is just sort of glued 3 pieces together at the top, and then I would fold it over and did a normal like hair braid. And I was thinking, you know, that would be pretty neat, especially if you went and covered it and distressed it and made it different colors, and that would be a neat little accent on something. Edge of a pocket. Need just a little bit of texture, something different from scraps, from teeny tiny scraps. Now, how many of you all remember these? Did you ever make these as kids? Now, I'll be honest, we made these in church. Because what do parents give kids to be quiet in church? Gum. And we would unwrap our sticks of gum and use the silver lining, and we'd make these for church. And during church to keep us quiet while we're working. While the sermon's going on and we're quiet. So let me fold another little piece here. And remind you, how do we do those? And you just overlay paper. Turn one that way, turn that way. And I always take the ends where they're sticking out and I add them in so that they stay good and secure. Flip, flip, flip. And there we go. And what do you get? Of course, if I made it longer, it'd be longer. That's just a shorter. So you get that folded little thing like that. And I was thinking, I think I would love that hanging out of a tassel out of something. But then I got to thinking, well, what if I squish it? And what kind of design would it make? Well, I'll tell you this. You can squish it down. And it makes a neat, flat, braided type design. I did one here. It's sort of harder to see. But I will be honest. It is hard to get it squished to get exactly right. But you can squish those down and it makes a neat design. Just got to play with it a little bit. On this one, I'm sure you all make all these paper flowers. You've made paper flowers before. And use them. Thought I had one real handy for you that I already made. But apparently I misplaced it. How do we do that? Take your paper to make them your bases. Got that off there. And here's on the fold, the main fold. That's my fold piece. And I just decide what shape petal do I want. And when you open them up, you can do any kind of shapes. And when you open them up, you've got petals. And then you take those petals and you just lay them down randomly. Like that. There you go. Isn't that awesome? And then, of course, you glue it, staple it, whatever you like, and you end up with a little flower that you can make. And looks so neat out of scraps and nothing that is useful. How about a fan? Take a regular sheet of paper, straight. Just one like that. And you just accordion fold it. Now, I did on mine, when I did mine, I worked at it like this, and I folded as I went and made it like I wanted. Got it the size that I wanted. And that's a rough one, of course. Then I'd shape it up later. And I used needle and thread to sew mine just because I like to sew. I like to sew. I've sewn for years. And then I have a little fan of wrapping paper or book page or whatever. But just short little, what do you do with scraps? Just those types of things. I don't have to show you what you can do with all your strings and your ribbons because you all know all that. You use them all the time. Now, there's those wonderful ideas. Get all this out of the way. And I had one more, and I'll be honest, I have not attempted this. I said, you know what? I'm going to do it on screen and see what happens. That's the way I craft. I just try things and just go at it. We all have things like jelly printing or painting papers, different types of stuff, whatever, that you like to do. Dyeing. Well, I'm going to show you one of the things I like to dye with. I go through my house and I literally, I'm not kidding. Give me a little water in there. I literally find anything that I might use. I've used bubbles. I've used, I don't know. There's been so many different things. Here, baking cocoa. I have actually, I clean out my closet, my kitchen cabinets of any spices. I tried different kinds of things. I have used baking cocoa before. Not going to tell you I haven't. It's very difficult to get mixed into your water. But I usually make bigger vats. If any of you have ever done any baking, you know baking cocoa does not like to mix in with water and stuff very easily. That's why we have the eggs and the whatnot. Well, I do not suggest dyeing with eggs, okay? That's not what I'm saying. But I haven't used this type of paper. But mix it up really good. And I'm just curious, will it stick? Well, this is more of a, look at that. I want to get some of the actual powder on there. And when it dries, you can knock the powder off. Ooh, look at that. I like that. It's going to stain it, plus some of the, it's going to show the crinkles. This is the type of paper I hadn't used before. I have never used gift wrap paper in dyeing. Now I'm painting it on. Usually I dip it and dip it back out. So, of course, this is going to soak up, and I won't get a good result until it dries. But hey, this is all about giving you some different ideas of what to do the day after Christmas with all your mess. And like I said in the little poem, I see coffee and tea left over, using it, of course. Maybe the baking cocoa was still sitting out on the... So that gives a... I'm curious what it's going to look like on that side. And I'm going to let it dry. I don't have a heat gun yet. I'm getting one for Christmas. Or I'd dry it and would see what the results are. But hey, let's see what that does and what result that'll give us later on. Well, I do have other things. Oh, I found it. There's one of the little flowers that I put together and used folding techniques with instead of just cutting and that. I knew it was around here somewhere. But there's you some ideas to do with your leftovers. Accordion fold fans, flowers, the old school kid craft, braiding, twisted, and weaving. All I can say, journalistas, is have a wonderful, wonderful time the day after Christmas and crafting. And look at that trash as another crafting supply. See you later. Bye.